Hey everyone, what is going on? My name is Trevor and thank you for watching Madtown Games. So I want to start doing a top 5 series where I pick a topic about gaming and I list in order from 5 to 1 how I feel about said topic. To start the segment off, I want to talk about my top 5 favorite boss fights in video games. The criteria for this is simple. Each of these bosses made a lasting impression on me in a positive way. Something that I can always think back to and remember the first time I'd ever beaten the boss. I'd also tried to stay away from multiple games from one franchise because, let's be honest, the Zelda games have some freaking amazing boss fights. Anyway, let's kick this off. Here's my top 5 boss fights in video games. Number 5. The Shadow Queen from Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. So most of this game was a great experience to play through. Fun storytelling, unique characters, and funny writing. The gameplay was also pretty easy through most of the game, very relaxing. So when I got to the final boss of the game, I was thinking to myself, alright, can I go in there, kick this bitch in the face, and come out champion of the Mushroom Kingdom, no sweat. However, I quickly realized I was mistaken. So you start off the fight against the dark version of Princess Peach, who's been inhabited by the Shadow Queen as sort of a vessel so she can regain her strength after being awakened. The Peach part is pretty simple. Keep attacking and she goes down pretty quick. Then you get to meet the real monster. The Shadow Queen is a large, spiral-shaped shadow who already looks pretty menacing. When you start the fight, you expect to just take it like any normal fight, right? Wrong. You will notice right away that none of your attacks are doing any damage to her at all. You're bouncing off her like you just threw a piece of balled up tissue at her. After this goes on for a while and you keep getting hit by her attacks and you're thinking, okay, what the serious fuck? Why can't I hit her? To add to everything, she complains about you being a minor inconvenience, and to gain more strength, she fucking eats the audience. Oh yes, you heard me right. She summons about 100 little shadow hands that sink into the stage, come up into the crowd, and fucking eat everybody. What the hell? So anyway, your characters are scared and asking, what are we gonna do? A cutscene shows everybody whom you've helped in your journey thus far calling out in support of you. This gives Mario and friends some motivation to beat down this baddie. Over a very long period of time, it is possible to take this mean queen down with some well-timed attacks and healing. Throughout the fight, she steals your character's health and heals herself, so the battle really rages on for a while. The reason I picked this fight for my number 5 is that even though it was hard as hell and frustrating, it was my favorite Mario boss fight simply because of that fact. Every other Mario fight is simply a joke. Bowser is almost never challenging in any Mario game. This game made you really think, act quickly, and be alert. That's why it's my number 5. Number 4. My number 4 pick is Metal Overlord from Sonic Heroes. This boss fight is so freaking awesome I must have played through it about 100 times as a kid. So after defeating Eggman and obtaining the 7 Chaos Emeralds, Metal Sonic comes out to play. He's betrayed his master Eggman and decided to take the fight into his own hands. He starts off by turning into a gigantic dragon-looking monster whom you have to take on as each team you've completed the game with. Each team has to damage his weak points as he sends waves and waves of attacks your way. This part is pretty easy. When you get to Team Sonic, you harness the power of the 7 Chaos Emeralds and turn into Super Sonic, Super Tails, and Super Knuckles. And then the battle takes to the sky. This part of the battle is why I picked it to be my number 4. Any supersonic fight is great, but something about this one just felt so freaking intense. You're flying around and avoiding his blast attacks while picking up rings so you don't run out of supersonic time. The more blasts you avoid and the closer you get to him, you build up enough power to launch a team strike. The team strike, when in supersonic mode, is simply one big can of whoop-ass. The 3 team members launch at Metal Sonic and bombard him from all angles as he cries out in pain. No!
Kneel down.
You have to do this about 5 or 6 times and then Metal Overlord is toast. I love the high-speed action of this fight and the music is really awesome too. It will always stick out to me as one of the best boss fights ever, thus being why it is my number 4. Number 3. Freya from Star Ocean 3 Till the End of Time. You've played through the game, you've put in 94 hours of gameplay, you've gotten to the final boss Luther and completely destroyed him. You are the greatest Star Ocean 3 player of all time. Oh, wait. Did I forget to mention that you still have 3 incredibly hard dungeons and bosses to beat? Well, yeah, you do. So after beating the story mode and defeating the final boss in Star Ocean 3, it's revealed to you that there are still more challenges to face. As I said before, these are 3 bonus dungeons and bosses that are by far the hardest in the game. The final of these 3 is none other than the all-powerful Freya. Freya's origins can be traced back to the game Valkyrie Profile on the PlayStation 1, where she plays the role of a supporting character. You're thinking to yourself, but Trevor, she's just a little girl. How hard can she be? Well, how does 20 million HP and 10 million magic points sound to you? Yeah, I thought so. In order to even stand a chance against this absolute tank of a boss, you have to have every single character you're going to be used maxed out at level 255. You also have to refine every piece of armor and weapon to be used before the fight to completely beef up your stats tenfold. And then, just then, you might stand a chance against her. I'm not kidding, she's that tough. If you let her get the better of you in a fight, she'll take full advantage of the situation and make you her bitch. Slamming you with constant combo breakers and interrupts is the name of her game. The only thing you can do is attack with the same intensity and try to stay alive with healing spells and items. Even an expert player will be at this fight for around an hour, as on top of her 20 million HP, she also heals a lot. The reason I picked Freya is because she is by far the hardest boss fight I've ever fought, while still being a very fun fight. I'll always remember staying up all night as a kid trying everything I could to beat her. I remember in the official strategy guide of this game seeing 20 million HP and thinking, are you fucking serious? Anyway, if you guys get the chance to fight this absolute badass, I would totally recommend it. Number 2. Abyssian from Tales of Symphonia. This was a very close second place pick, as I wanted to put it as the first, but I enjoy the next boss just a tiny bit more. But Abyssian was an optional boss in Tales of Symphonia. His story is that he is the last remaining member of a family whose only goal in life was to stop a man named Neblum from unleashing a curse all over the world of Tetheala. In order to do this, he needs to collect the Devil's Arms, which are a series of weapons with immense power. So your group takes it upon themselves to find all these weapons to give to Abyssian to help him out. When you finally collect all the Devil's Arms and give them to Abyssian, he pulls out the Necronomicon, which if you guys know is a book of curses and spells. He then takes all the weapons you gave him and gives himself immense power through the book. This is where the fun starts. You're launched into battle with him with never knowing that you're actually going to be fighting this guy. With the power of the Devil's Arms, he can unleash all unholy hell upon you with spells and attacks from all of your characters. He's totally deadly at short range and can dish out an ass whooping from a distance too, with long range spells including the incredibly powerful Indignation Judgment. Like Freya, Abyssian also has a ridiculous amount of HP and TP and will unleash attack after attack if you don't stop him. The reason I picked Abyssian for my number 2 is because it's such a fun and unexpected fight. On top of that, while you're fighting him, you hear him talking about how this is all he ever wanted, to show the world his true power, and it's actually a very cool story to listen to whilst getting your ass kicked. After you finally beat him, you regain the use of the Devil's Arms weapons, which are the only weapons in the game where the more you use them in battle, the stronger they actually get. You can get these weapons to deal some serious damage, and I remember in my file I had almost everyone carrying a Devil's Arm. This one's a boss fight that I will surely never forget. Number 1. And number 1. Ganondorf from The Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker. Zelda has always been known for having great boss fights, but this one in my opinion takes the cake. Everything from the setting to the battle mechanics to the overall mood of the situation is pure perfection in a boss fight. Not too many boss fights have ever gotten me quite as pumped up as this one. So you've sailed the ocean searching for the Triforce shards. When you finally collect them and head off to face with the ultimate evil himself. When you get there, you're greeted by both Ganondorf and the King of Hyrule. The king states that he wishes for a new beginning and that he wants to wash away the old land of Hyrule so people like Link and Zelda may start a new society above the surface. At this point, water comes crashing down on Hyrule from the ocean above in a furious storm. All the while, Ganondorf is laughing to himself. He knows this is the final battle, and he wants Link dead. I think my favorite thing about this fight is that in every other Zelda game, Ganondorf/Ganon relied on magic to stand a chance. Not in Wind Waker, he simply pulls out two short swords and comes at you full force. I think the idea of a sword fight for the final fight is so awesome. It felt right. The objective of the fight is pretty much to wait for Zelda to shoot a light arrow at you, and then you have to deflect it with your shield into Ganondorf, run up to him and hack the shit out of him. By far the best part of this fight is the final blow. There's nothing cooler than doing a parry attack and slamming the Master Sword straight into Ganondorf's skull. So freaking awesome. When I think of Zelda, that's an image that comes to mind almost immediately. I'll never forget this boss fight, and you better believe I got the HD remake of Wind Waker pre-ordered. Cannot wait to experience this fight in HD on the Wii U. Well guys, there you have it, my top 5 boss fights. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked this video, please hit the like button. Remember to comment also telling me what your favorite boss fights are and why. If you like the idea of a top 5 segment on Madtown Games, let me know and I'll make more. Thank you guys for watching. I am out. See you later.